Hello there and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining, please do like the video and subscribe, click the notification bell as well. So in this video we're going to answer the question of what's the programming language that gives programmers the most freedom and how. So well, I'm going to answer in a way that I understand, and the first I would say is freedom, meaning that you might have to use only that programming language, perhaps, let's say, to do multitasking, okay, to do many tasks. Let's say you are developing a website and you want to, use one programming language instead of using, different programming languages. Let's say in the back end, you want to use one language, then the front end, the same language. So it's kind of freedom. So we don't need to, learn one more language, one or two more. So I would say JavaScript. That would be my answer, JavaScript, because I believe JavaScript is good. If when it comes to front end, you can use it, and then when it comes to the back end, you can also use it. So the front end, you can use it. You can use a framework, React. You could use Vue.js. What can we build with JavaScript? Right, so here is kind of few things that you can do with JavaScript. So you start with website, server applications, web servers, games, art, smartwatch apps, flying robots. So that there are tons of things you can do with them. So JavaScript is quite useful in a sense that it multitask. Like I think 80% of programmers, even those that don't work in the in the web space, they know JavaScript. The reason being that it's so useful and it's so universal that it's used in a lot of things. In almost every dashboard that you see, most of the time, JavaScript is there, especially when you see any animation and stuff like that. JavaScript will be there. So yeah, JavaScript is my winner here, but I don't think that we have, other competitors, but I think nothing come near JavaScript. I think other languages are very useful and multitasking as well. And my next would be Python. All right, Python is very useful in the sense that it's used for data science, machine learning, but it's also now it's also used for mobile web apps, even some mobile apps as well. So you can use Python to develop data visualization, to things like that, display graphs like Excel. You could use Python with its libraries to do that. But you can also use Python in the back end of website. So there are kind of a lot of frameworks where Python is actually the main language. So you have Fast API, you have Django. Python would come Java, but because Java is also used on web, it's also used on embedded systems. It's quite useful as well. But yeah, I would just say the freedom that you can say you can have with a programming language will depend on what the requirements are. So on each project, a language could be the language that could be the one that gives you the more freedom. So just choose the right language, and I think there's no such thing as freedom, or give you the most freedom. But I would think if it's freedom in terms of memories, and which I suspect the person asking the question might be asking for, is if you're looking for a programming language that gives you freedom in terms of how to manage the memory, to do whatever you want with the memory, I would say C++ gives you that capability where you can actually have access to deep memory, do whatever you want. You can use pointers to manage memory as well, to deal with memory as much as you want. So I think that would be the language for that. But in terms of what freedom means, depend on which case you are talking about. So that'll be my answer for today. All right. So if you think what do you think about this question? I mean, what's your answer to that? And let's discuss in the comment and see what's right, what's the right one, and which one is which one gives the programmers the most freedom. Okay, cheers.